Good day, everyone. I'm Romano Trinidad, an MBA candidate from the Yuchengco School of Business, and today I'll be presenting my capstone proposal entitled The Impact of Return to Office Requirements on Employee Retention, Exploring Workplace Culture and Generational Differences. This study was inspired by what many organizations are facing right now: the challenge of balancing business goals with employee well-being in a post-pandemic world. Over the next few minutes, I'll share the context, theoretical foundations, methodology, and expected contributions of my research. The pandemic has transformed our understanding of work. What began as a crisis response, working from home, has evolved into a new expectation of flexibility and autonomy. Many employees discovered that they could be just as productive, if not more, outside the traditional office. Yet companies are now encouraging or even requiring people to return on site. This study investigates how those policies influence employee retention, especially when viewed through the lens of workplace culture and generational values. The pandemic didn't only change where we work, it changed why we work. For many, work has become more about purpose, trust, and balance, not merely attendance. However, managers argue that face-to-face collaboration is crucial for innovation and culture. So the fundamental question arises: does returning to the office strengthen engagement, or does it create dissatisfaction and attrition? This is not simply a policy question. It's cultural and generational one, which this research seeks to unpack. Before the pandemic, the office symbolized productivity, collaboration, and belonging. And in 2020, remote work broke that norm, proving that teams could thrive virtually. Now we are in a hybrid era. Companies are experimenting with 2 or 3 in-office days, while others fully mandate physical return. Interestingly, reactions vary. Baby boomers often appreciate the structures of an office. Gen X tends to value balance. Millennials and Gen Z prioritize flexibility and meaning. Understanding these differences is vital to creating retention strategies that work for all. The core problem can be framed as: the return to office mandates retain employees or drive them to leave. Many organizations assume presence equals commitment, but emerging data shows that forced attendance can backfire when employees feel mistrusted. This study explores whether workplace culture and generational alignment can mitigate or intensify that effect. Most prior studies have focused on remote work productivity or satisfaction, rarely integrating RTO, culture, and generation into one framework. Few have measured how these combined factors influence actual retention decisions. By connecting these perspectives, this research addresses a gap highly relevant to modern HR and leadership practice. 3 key theories guide this study. First, generational theory, which proposes that each cohort, baby boomers, Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z, develops distinct work values shaped by shared experiences. For instance, millennials value purposeful work and flexibility, while Gen Z seeks mentorship and psychological safety. Second, employee turnover models, such as the unfolding model of voluntary turnover, which suggests that sudden organizational changes, like RTO mandates, can act as a shock events, prompting employees to reconsider their fit. Third, human and social capital theory reminds us that when people leave, the organization loses not just skills, but relationships and culture. Together, this framework explains why retention today is about far more than attendance. The conceptual framework positions RTO policy stringency as the independent variable influencing employee retention. There are three moderating factors that shape that relationship. First, generational cohort, which means each group values flexibility differently. Second, supervisor support. Supportive leaders can soften negative perceptions. And third, career development opportunities, where growth potential can motivate employees to stay, even amid strict policies. The model hypothesizes that higher RTO stringency increases turnover intention unless offset by strong support and growth perspectives. The study aims to first examine how supervisor support influences retention across generations. Second, determine whether strict RTO policies lead to higher turnover intention. And third, assess if career development opportunities reduce dissatisfaction caused by RTO. Ultimately, the goal is to identify the factors that help organizations keep top talent while maintaining cultural cohesion. This research uses a quantitative, correlational design with data collected through a self-administered online survey. Respondents will come from a company with a hybrid 2-day on-site setup, a practical environment for observing RTO dynamics. We will call it Company RT. Analysis will involve descriptive statistics, correlation, regression, and moderation testing to measure how variables interact. This systematic approach ensures objectivity and statistical rigor in drawing conclusions. Let's briefly review the variables. The independent variable is RTO stringency, how strict attendance policies are. The dependent variable is employee retention or intention to stay. Moderating variables include generation, supervisor support, and career growth. All constructs will be measured using validated scales on a 5-point Likert format, capturing attitudes from strongly disagree to strongly agree. This enables reliable statistical comparison across age groups and roles. Ethical compliance is central to the study. Participation will be voluntary, informed consent will be obtained, and anonymity maintained. No identifying information will be collected, and results will be used solely for academic purposes. These measures ensure respect for participants and uphold the integrity of the research process. A review of global literature provides compelling insights. Studies show that younger employees value flexibility and trust over salary alone. In contrast, older generations may still associate presence with professionalism. Research from Van Dyke and others 2024 found that hybrid setups can reduce attrition by up to 35%, proving that flexibility has tangible business value. Locally, Filipino organizations adopting hybrid models report improved engagement and well-being. These findings highlight how cultural context and generational values intertwine to influence retention decisions. From these insights, the study proposes that first, supervisor support is a stronger predictor of retention than physical attendance. Number 2, strict RTO policies increase turnover among high performers seeking flexibility. 3, career development opportunities mitigate dissatisfaction linked to mandatory office work. And lastly, generational differences moderate all these relationships. Testing these propositions can help leaders design policies that meet both organization and employee needs. This study contributes in 3 major ways. Theoretically, it merges generational and turnover frameworks, enriching our understanding of retention in hybrid workplaces. Managerially, it provides data-driven insight to guide HR leaders in crafting flexible yet cohesive work arrangements. Societally, it aligns with UN Sustainable Development Goals 8 and 5, promoting decent work, economic growth, and gender equality by supporting inclusive, adaptive work models. The overall contribution is a roadmap for sustaining culture and engagement in the evolving world of work. The expected implication is clear. RTO alone doesn't rebuild engagement. Culture does. A supportive culture grounded in trust, mentorship, and open communication fosters belonging. Flexibility is no longer a perk. It's part of the modern employee value proposition. Leaders who blend structure with empathy can attract and retain diverse talent across generations. For organizations in the Philippines, where family and relationship are central to work identity, this insight is particularly relevant. To close, I'd like to share this thought. Retaining talent is no longer about where employees work, but how valued they feel while doing it. The future of work will not be defined by physical presence, but by connection, trust, and shared purpose. As leaders and managers, our responsibility is to design systems that make people want to stay, not because they have to, but because they choose to. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to your feedback on this study.